Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about space exploration and see how relevant it is in today's context. Let me give you some insight. Think about it. I think it is an idea worth spreading. Let's get right to it. What is space exploration? Well, it is the use of astronomy and space technologies to explore outer space. However, do take into note that space exploration does not mean the launching of weather or communication satellites. We have a history of space exploration that runs down for millennia. In the very early stages, us humans studied stars and star constellations. Not only did we study them, but we used these star constellations to navigate at night when we embark on long journeys. By the 19th century, however, did we discover all the planets of the solar system. Coming more towards the present, by 1945 the World War II ended and there was a boom in space exploration among leading nations. Do not forget that World War II was a real destruction, yet the leading nations embarked on a space race. For what benefit? 25 years after the end of World War II, in 1969, we landed on the moon for the first time in human history. No doubt, it's a great achievement, but it required a lot of resources, and the moon landing was a step-by-step achievement. By 1957, we sent a spacecraft to orbit the Earth for the first time. That was Sputnik 1. By 1959, we sent an unmanned spacecraft to land on the moon for the first time. And finally, by 1961, a human went to the space for the first time. That was Yuri Gagarin. Landing on the moon is not an easy thing, even today. In 2019 alone, 2 nations failed to land on the moon, and one of these nations have around 7% of the world's poorest population. A moon mission requires a lot of resources, which includes money, time, and knowledge. For several decades to come, Mars seems to be the main agenda for many space organizations. Just like we landed on the moon, nations are most certainly wanting to conquer and land on Mars. However, just imagine the volume of resources that is needed for such a mission to be a success. Now, as the future of space exploration stands so, let us take a set of figures and try and understand the size of space. The diameter of the solar system is 287 billion kilometers. The size of the Milky Way is 53,000 light years. 1 light year is 9.5 trillion kilometers. The size of the observable universe is 93 billion light years. Now let me give you some thinking. The furthest any man has gone up till now would be to the moon, which is 380,000 kilometers away from planet Earth. And the furthest any unmanned spacecraft has gone up till now would be the Voyager 1, which has traveled a distance of 22 billion kilometers. That is just beyond our solar system, and it is still traveling even as I speak. Now, compared to the size of space, our space explorations are very limited to a small area. According to the great scientist Stephen Hawking, majority of the universe is dark matter. Yet, we continue to invest a lot of resources. I think it is time to consider, are these investments really worth? We have plenty of extremely worthy matters to pay serious attention right from planet Earth. Moving on. Why do we explore space? Many of you may say the benefits. Well, here's the unfortunate plot twister. Space exploration is done for pride and supremacy among nations. Yes, you heard me right. Just after the World War II, 2 nations embarked on a space race despite the destruction of World War II. Their aim was to land on the moon. A more modern space race would be to conquer Mars. Now, space exploration may be for the pride and supremacy, but there are still direct and indirect benefits. Space knowledge and technologies would be some of the direct benefits. With the help of space technologies, we are able to launch weather, communication, and GPS satellites. Smartphone cameras and solar panels would be the indirect benefits if I were to mention a few. So we have the benefits. But what about the resources? As I mentioned before, space programs last for decades and they invest a lot of resources. Let me talk to you about these resources in terms of time, money, and knowledge. To land on the moon, we took 25 years to achieve. That is over a quarter of a century. And to land on the Mars will take another few decades to achieve. Space programs are not meant to fail and put human lives at risk. So all these points together make this process quite lengthy and complex. Now think about the money. One space organization alone has invested around 230 billion US dollars in the last 10 years. On the other hand, worldwide governments have invested 71 billion US dollars in 2017 just for space exploration. This is quite a shocking figure when we understand that there are around 100 countries out there, 50% of the total world countries, that have an annual GDP less than 71 billion US dollars. Isn't it something to think of? A few years ago, I too was interested in space exploration, and I'm pretty sure there are a lot more out there like me. It is a lifelong dream for us to be part of space programs, and possibly in the future, some of us may be geniuses. One space organization alone has 2,800 scientists. That is an incredible wealth of knowledge. Should we really continue to invest this much resources? That is the big question. We have so many burning problems right on planet Earth that need more serious attention than exploring space. Let me talk to you about a few of these burning problems. Think about global warming. Think about poverty. Think about the poor healthcare systems. Global warming has no stopping as of now, and as a result, it is one of the most serious problems we are facing right now. Due to global warming, we are seeing melting of poles and extreme weathers. When the poles are melting, we will see rise in sea levels. This puts a serious risk about communities where they are in coastal areas. And low-lying islands like Maldives have a direct threat of being wiped off the world map for good. Surely this is worrying, needing more attention and resources. Extreme weather. When it rains for long, which leads to flood and earth slips, putting a lot of trouble on the people. When there is a drought, it is quite long, leaving many people without water and unable to cultivate crops for an extensive period of time. Surely this is worrying, needing more attention and resources. Unfortunately, many governments are still arguing about this situation, and many are least concerned. Poverty. There is about 700 million people living through poverty as per the UN records. That is about 10% of the world's population. Because of poverty, many people lack the basic needs such as food, medicine, education, and shelter. Surely this is worrying, needing more attention and resources. Healthcare systems. Look at this pandemic time and how powerful nations reacted. There is about 10 million COVID-19 patients and 500,000 deaths, unfortunately. 50% of these cases, around 70% of these deaths are coming from North America and Europe itself. Why is this? I think it is partly due to the cracks in the healthcare systems. Governments need to start taking more responsibility for these healthcare systems. Bill Gates himself gave a TED talk in 2015 and talked about how ill prepared we are for a virus attack. Surely this is worrying, needing more attention and resources. Coming to an end with my talk, I believe that the benefits of fixing our burning problems will heavily outweigh the benefits of space exploration. The burning problems are burning enough for us to act right now. Why wait for the trouble to come knocking on our door? It is time countries consider to work together rather than as one. Finally, I would like to say that we need to reset our priorities, pay greater attention, and invest more resources. Thank you.